back with more Gun Talk Live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, NASGW show. And this time, we've got a couple guys here. We're going to talk something a little different. Michael Sedini, Rob Pincus. Introduce yourself to the audience.
I'm Michael Sedini with Eagle Imports. We bring in firearms from all over the world. Bursa, Grand Power, Metro Arms, Llama, Avidity Arms.
Yep. Been doing it for a long time.
Yes, we've been in business for 30 years. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rob, if the people don't know?
Educator, Personal Events Network, IC training company, working with the United States Concealed Carry Association, and our collaboration has gone on for many years, mostly with shenanigans in the background of trade shows. But Avidity Arms is a project that we're partnered on. So my PD-10 design with Avidity Arms Manufacturing is the first U.S.-based firearms product for Eagle, which is kind of exciting.
Yep.
And today, I think what we're going to talk about primarily is what these ribbons are all about, and organization that Mike founded and invited me to be involved in. Some other leaders from the industry are involved in with the board, and I think it's really incredibly important because it deals with mental health. It deals with mental health in the firearms community in some ways that I think haven't been done before. And Mike, talk a little bit about how we got here.
So first of all, it's called Walk the Talk America.
Yep, Walk the Talk America.
So while they're watching this, you can look it up, Walk the Talk America, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, walkthetalkamerica.org.
Okay, and find it on Facebook as well?
Yeah, Walk the Talk US.
Okay.
Walk the Talk US, Instagram, Facebook.
And WTTA.org, that works too.
Okay. So where did this come from, and what is Walk the Talk America doing?
It just basically came out of a conversation with a random stranger, but it was asking about the gun industry and the mental health side of it, right?
Right.
What happens in these shootings or things like that, and basically it's blame the gun, and then we turn and we blame mental health, right?
Right.
They blame the gun, we blame mental health. I kind of became obsessed with the idea of reaching out, branching out, and going over into that direction to, because we know it's what the problem is, right?
Right.
And we know that mental health in itself has always been cut back on. Like, they've lost $4.6 billion since, I'd say, 2009 to 2014.
So they're not, as far as treatment and help,
right.
help for people who have mental health issues.
Right. So I was thinking in my head, like, what is a way that we could fund some of the stuff that, is not being paid attention to anymore?
From the gun industry saying, no, we're not just going to say, oh, it's just a crazy guy. Well, what can we do about this and be a little more proactive?
Right. And that statement in itself, that is what has been part of the problem, right? Because it creates a stigma. So I found this Mental Health America is an organization that we're working close with that actually has some of the same type of belief systems, right? They want you to have your rights. They actually don't want you to lose your rights. But they're saying, look, stop saying it's a crazy person with a gun, because that is creating a stigma.
It's oversimplification of it, perhaps.
Yeah, and it's making it worse.
Okay. So how are you guys working with them, and kind of what are some of the goals for going forward?
Rob, you want to take this one? I want to the first initiative.
Yeah, a couple of initiatives we're coming out with first. One of the things that Mental Health America does as a advocacy group for patients' rights, they've been around for 109 years, and they've really helped to get a lot of reform inside of the mental health community and really push for, through their state and local chapters, the advocacy for patients being as independent, as productive, as healthy human beings as they can be, even though they're diagnosed with, mental illness. Because that range of mental illness could mean something like you go to a couple therapy sessions and you're all set. Let's put some perspective on it. On the other hand, it might be medication. It might be an in-house treatment facility, right, that you need. But their advocacy is all about giving people as much power and as much empowerment as they can. So Mike came across the statement they made where they basically said, like, we don't want anyone's rights taken away, whether it's the right of freedom or the right to have a firearm or anything else. We want people to get the help they need and understand that maybe today isn't the right time for you to have a firearm, but with some treatment, with some process, next week, 2 weeks from now, next year, there should definitely be a process where someone doesn't get immediately, because they raised their hand and said, I need help or I want help, they lose their rights forever.
And then they don't want to ask for help.
Then they don't want to ask for it, and that's the problem we have. So that's one of our biggest outreach initiatives right from the beginning, is they have this great screening process that they have a huge number of young people that take advantage of their online screening process and then get kind of pushed to the resources in their area that are people that are associated with MHA. And this idea that, like, the ribbon, you can't see it on the screen, I know, but it says fight in the open. And that's the idea, is let's talk about this. Let's make people know that it's not wrong to ask for help. You think about our veterans, right? You think about how many of our veterans,
Oh, yeah.
we know they need help, but if we stigmatize it and just say, oh, it's a mental health issue, or if they are going to take your guns away if you raise your hand and ask for help, that's what we want to get away from. So putting the screening, making the screening more available, talking about these issues inside of the gun world, that's the first initiative. So walk the talk. We're not just going to talk about it. We're going to give you the screening. We're going to give you the access to the help. The other thing we're doing, and this really ties into suicide prevention and trauma mitigation, is a range program where we're going to have a distance education course set up for free for any range employee, anybody who works in a retail shop, any FFL, any employees of the FFL, where the script is written by MHA. It's not us making things up. It's not regurgitated information we read on the internet. These are mental health professionals helping people understand sort of how to identify at-risk people, how to talk about it in the range setting, help us script the pamphlets, script the signage, everything else, so that people know it's okay to talk about this thing. And if you're having a bad week, if you're having a bad day, if you're going through treatment, if you're about to change medication, maybe start medication, maybe this is the week to bring your guns into the gun shop and let us clean them, let us store them for you, let us hold them. And one of the things I think is with this initiative, if we have 500 ranges across the country with the signage, with the outreach programs, with all that stuff, you and I go to the range together, maybe I spend a few extra minutes looking at the pamphlet or looking at the poster, or you read, or the staff reads what's going on. We may only have 2, 3, 5, 10 stories of ranges actually taking guns in, right, from some customer. But if we're buddies, what about you? You ask me on the drive home, and you say, hey, you know, how about if I'll clean up your ARs, buddy. Let me, you know, you're having a hard time with the wife, having a hard time with the job. I know you're seeing a doctor now. Whatever your thing is, let me help you. And it's not them taking our guns away. It's us helping each other. And I think that's a huge, huge piece of what this is going to be.
So how can people, if they say, this is a cool idea, this is great, I love this, how can they get involved and help?
I would say first thing is go to the website. Right? Check out the website, read what we're about. Go to the social media outlets, look at all that stuff. There's a lot of this, some of the stuff that we've accomplished is up there. You can see what we've done so far in this little time. But, you know, first and foremost, donate. I mean,
it takes funds.
It does take funds.
And I know that you guys are working on that within the industry and yourselves. But, you know, really there's a force multiplier if we can get thousands of other people to go, yeah, this is a good thing.
Yeah, well, it started with me, right? I had to put my money where my mouth is first. So Eagle Imports is going to donate $1 a gun for every gun that we sold. We're going back to January 1 on this. So I'm going to put my money up first. But, you know, we've been very thankful to everybody that's helped us. You know, we have someone to build the site.
Brand Avalanche. Brand Avalanche helped us out with the website design. We've had a lot of people who've committed to support in one way or another. Like obviously the $1 per gun, IC training company putting in $1 per student. There's a lot of different ways people can get involved, including just clicking that donate button or just share and repost. You get people, get the traffic. So again, it's about the community embracing the idea of helping one another and finding the resources, the information. We need to help fund Mental Health America because honestly, they're an ally. So Mike reached out to them in late July. It was mid-late July. He reached out and said, "Hey,
this is a pretty new thing.
This is who we are. This is what we want to do. We are from the firearms industry, but we're not we're not an enemy. We want to work with you." And based on this position statement, it was number 72 they had. We think you might be the right people to partner with. They reached out. They reached back. They invited Mike, Maria, another one of our board members, reached out, invited him to come to a national conference out in L.A. that they were having.
That was pretty interesting, right?
Conference.
What did you experience when you went there as the gun guy?
Well, that's how I walked up. I mean, I introduced myself as, hey, the gun people are here. And actually, though, you'd be surprised at how accepting they were and welcoming because for many of them, they were like, we're so glad you came. Like, that's awesome that you're trying to do this. You know, the email that I had sent was a Hail Mary email. It was the Jerry Maguire memo type deal, you know, where I was just going to throw it out there and say, hey, do you want our help? And, you know, they answered it. But believe it or not, the legislation that they fight for mostly has to deal with insurance companies and trying to get money for people to get treatment and you know, for it to be taken serious. Like, it's not, they're not out there trying to get your rights away. That's the most important thing.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they've already committed some very explicit support. So you'll see it in our literature. It's going to have the Mental Health America logo, which again, over 100 years of patient advocacy and very respected efforts inside of that community with the Walk the Talk America logo. They're not going to hide the fact that they're working with gun guys. They're not hiding the fact that in the right hands at the right time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with guns. There's no correlation between the mere presence of a gun in someone's life and the likelihood of violence, right? And we would say one of the things that I think really resonates with the community here, and I think people will get it that are watching this, we would say to someone who says, well, guns are the problem. We say, you know, like 0.000 whatever % of legal gun owners ever do anything wrong with a gun, right? And they would say the same thing. If we say it's all mental health, they're like, yeah, but 0.0001% of people with mental health issues are ever a danger to anybody.
Harm people,
So it's really the stigma of guns or the stigma of mental health. We need to get past that, have real conversations, thoughtful conversations with people that actually are worried about responsibility and safety, protecting rights, not taking them away. And we found some great partners in MHA.
Well, you know, it's not just a blame each other and walk away kind of thing.
That's what it's been for too long.
And this is why it's called Walk the Talk.
Yeah.
Walk the Talk America. Okay, this is a good organization. This is a good cause. And we're being proactive about trying to make some progress and get some things done. So if you want to help, check them out. Walk the Talk.
WalkTheTalkAmerica.org, WTTA.org, Walk the Talk US on all the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
That's how you find out more, learn more, donate, and pass it along, share it. I think it's a good cause. It's something that's worthwhile.
Thanks, man.